Ms. Hudson, what are your thoughts on how you manage a class today in terms of development for students with, I guess, behavior issues and development?
So it's it's hard because it's meeting them where they're at and then trying to get them to where they should be, which is pretty much on them. They are right now, for a lot of the boys of color, they're at a sixth grade and seventh grade mentality. And they don't take school very seriously. They don't take their grades seriously because they don't see the effects yet. But when you get into high school, the effects get seen a lot quicker, but not in seventh, eighth grade. So because of that, they still think they can fool around. They still think they can mess around without without the consequences hitting them hard. So since they really don't feel the consequences like that, they'll still do what they did years before coming into ninth grade. So they're ninth graders acting developmentally, acting younger than that when they really need to be older and take things seriously because now their grades are being prepared for college and they don't quite get the connection that what they're doing is going to reflect back on college. And so they tend to just do their own thing and what they're used to. So they're immature. Their friends are the most important social network that they have right now. They feel like I need that social network because if anything goes down, if anything happens wrong, they have my back. So they need security and they need all of that in order to feel good. And to keep up those relationships, that means I'm gonna have to sacrifice my grades.
And the meditation, what's the reason for it? I noticed that in your classroom. Why do you do meditation?
So overall, I mean that's something that the principal can really answer, but meditation is just a tool to help kids um, cope. So if they're having problems or issues emotionally, they can use meditation to help them to bring down their anger because a lot of our students have temper and anger issues. Our students are also hyper, especially our special ed students, the ones that you saw in second period. They're special ed and they deal with not being focused and being hyper. So meditation is a tool for them to calm down, to refocus. It's just one tool that they can use. So they want to expose them to things that can help them.
So you got any advice on our new teachers trying to handle uh, disruptive kid?
You have to build a relationship with them first. So for some classes, they'll be disruptive the whole period, right? If I can get them to focus, at least for those students, since they're so hyper, if they can focus 20 to 30% of the time, I think you got to set your goals to where they can be met. So if you think that you can get some groups of students who are like that to be focused 100% of the time in a big classroom with other students that way, then you're always going to be disappointed. You have to meet the student where they're at. So if you know that you can get 20 to 30% and then you can try to increase it slowly, then do that. But the first thing is you got to build a relationship with them because if you don't build a relationship, there's always going to be arguments. I mean, bad, negative arguments.
So I saw how you handled one of your students. You took him outside. What do you tell him for him to make that turn from disruptive to more being participating in class and see more calmer and in a better better headspace? What do you tell them?
So I let them know aware of their behavior. I said, I see your behavior. I see what you're doing. And then I asked them, what do you think about that? And how do you think it's going to affect your grade? So I talked to them about that. And I said, you need to show me different. Because if you say your grade is important, then you need to show me. So I always bring it back to them. I always talk to them. And I tell them, I never disrespect you. I never do that. And understand that, there has to be respect between both of us. So I talked about, because they feel respect is important. So I talk about respect. I talk about their behavior. I talk about the consequences of the behavior. But I ask them to tell me
Okay.
because they become fully aware of it. And then I'm like, you need to calm down. But it's never what do you call it? I don't. It's not a punishment. They know they're gonna get spoken to, but they know that I'm not punishing them or disciplining them where they're being yelled at or they're being, put down. They know that I'm just gonna talk to them and I'm gonna hold them accountable.
Okay. So in the end, like, what's your technique, and what's your style of teaching? What makes you different from other health teachers?
I don't know if it's any different, but I just know what I do is I try to connect with them. I try to connect with them on a one-on-one and personal level. So when I talk to them, they know that one, the teacher cares. Two, that I'm going to be honest with them, and I give them chances. And then, of course, if there's an issue, there's consequences. But it's always about building that relationship with the student and always being able for them to come to me and talk to me, or I can go and talk to them.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.